You know what the problem with this game is? It's freaking fun. Like, there's just so much you can do that it could literally make your head spin trying to figure everything out. I didn't get a chance to play the first Xenoverse, so I had a lot of catching up to do going into the second. Which brings me to my first complaint. For those unfamiliar with the Xenoverse series, you might find yourself a little lost. Upon starting the game, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. It also didn't help that the game basically throws information at you, expecting you to remember everything. The only thing you can do is just go with the flow and take things as they come, which is basically what I did. There were some moments of frustration as I had to figure out where to acquire certain items and where specific places were located. Do you know how long it took me to find a clothing shop? There's an on-screen map you can bring up, but it's a very generalized layout. Information is scarce, so you really have to just explore and figure things out on your own. One thing I wish I could do was place a waypoint, but I guess that would take away from the exploration in a sense. So what is this game exactly? I always thought it was a fighting game of some sort, but it's actually closer to a role-playing game. Part arena brawler and part MMO. You take on the role of a time patroller, basically just going back through time and making sure nothing changes in the past. The cool thing is that you get to relive all the great moments in Dragon Ball Z history. As I'm playing, I couldn't help but think of Back to the Future. Like, did any of you guys get that kind of vibe? Let me know in the comments. Most of your time, however, will be spent in the hub world, completing quests and learning new skills and abilities, which you can either use in the story mode or in online battles. There's also the parallel quests. These can be completed offline or online, but the real fun of it is playing with another person. I think the most exciting thing is going into the match and seeing what kind of abilities the other person has. I thought my Gallic gun attack was pretty cool until I saw some of the moves these other guys were throwing out. I was like, I need to play this game more. You control an original character, which you create before starting the game. Given 5 different races to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and each one fully customizable to your liking. I thought this was pretty neat. It doesn't seem like a big deal at first, since you'll be playing with other NPCs, but once you log into the servers and see everyone decked out in their own garments, it really adds an element of individuality. It's almost like being at Disneyland, except with Dragon Ball characters. I'm always surprised at what people are able to come up with. I mean, it's just fun to see all these other people running around and stuff. And when you do see the amount of people online, you realize how popular this game really is. Seeing an online community that's so abundant with other players gives me one of those happy moments. I don't have to wait for a full moon and hope that someone is online or have to log on at a specific time of the day. I just know there's gonna be people online regardless. The best part about logging into a match, however, is searching for the game. You walk up to the counter and put in the search details. It's fun. It's sort of like being in line at the DMV. You know what? Scratch that. Online matches worked well for the most part. I didn't experience any lag, but I did run into the occasional error message. And sometimes the matches would just stall completely, leaving me to wait until the timer ran out. Minor occurrences, but not enough to keep me away from playing online. Now, regarding the visuals, which I probably should have mentioned sooner, before you even start the game, I implore you, go into the options and adjust the brightness. What you want to do here is turn the thing all the way up. Trust me, the game will look a million times better. On default, it just looks drab and washed out. It almost appears as if there's a gray filter over the entire image. I thought I had cataract for a second. Like, I don't even know why the game would default to that setting in the first place, because anything less than max brightness looks god-awful. I'm not sure how well you can tell the difference in the video comparison, but trust me, it looks bad. After making the proper adjustments, you'll notice the colors now have a lot more punch to them. It just has a more rich and vibrant look, you could say. I'm glad it was an easy fix, because at first I was a little worried. You guys can thank me by sending a check. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for playing in handheld mode. I mean, the game still looks good, but you'll notice a slight drop in quality. Character models can look a little rough around the edges, with everything just having an overall crunchier look. Does that make sense? I did also notice a tiny drop in performance while playing handheld. It doesn't occur during battles, thank God, but it's more common when you're running around in the hub world. I guess the system has a harder time rendering out all those objects at once. It's a few dropped frames here and there, but quite honestly, I didn't even notice after a while. It doesn't affect the main gameplay, which is the most important part. Outside of that, the rest of the game looks amazing. All the characters look great, and their special attacks look like they were lifted straight from the anime. It looks good. Just make sure you bump up that brightness. In terms of controls, the game might require a few hours to get used to. It's not that the game is hard to play. It's just that there's really no sort of tutorial for you to get accustomed to how things work. You'll complete your first parallel quest with a set of commands, but then have to learn a skill from an instructor that uses a different set of commands. It's confusing at first, and I really wish the game was a little more clear with this part. Then again, this is my first time playing a Xenoverse game, so maybe that had something to do with it. I also think the lock-on targeting can be a pain sometimes. It doesn't always lock on to the nearest target, which can be frustrating. But I think once you play enough of the game and start to figure out where things are, you'll see that is really not that complicated. Going back to what I just said about learning skills from instructors, there are moves that can only be acquired from certain characters. For example, if you wanted to learn how to perform a Destructo disc, then you'd have to wander the hub and find Krillin to teach you. On the other hand, if you wanted to acquire Vegeta's Gallic Gun technique, well, then you'd have to go and search him out. I think this concept is cool on so many levels. Not all characters are available at first, so you have to play through some of the story and level up your character to find them. The game is called Dragon Ball Xenoverse, but what I think it should be called is Dragon Ball Universe, because that's what this entire thing feels like. It's like a Dragon Ball fan's dream. Everything you could love about the anime is included in this game. Story, characters, special moves, it's all here. There is just so much to do, I can't even explain it all. You can learn moves from various characters throughout Dragon Ball history, customize your characters with outfits from your favorite DBZ villain or hero, battle against other people, or level up your character by taking on parallel quests, either alone or with someone else online. But personally, at least for me, I think the main appeal of the game is the story mode, because it lets you relive some of the greatest moments in Dragon Ball Z history. The only problem I have here is that it goes from insanely easy to insanely hard. There's a surprise difficulty spike that will make you wonder if you're even playing the same game. I'm gonna be honest here, this fight was so intense, my palms were sweating afterwards. Hell, I felt like I was in the actual fight. This is where you're gonna have to start paying attention to what you're doing. Button mashing isn't going to help you anymore. I had written off the gameplay as nothing more than a button masher, but it wasn't until I got up to this fight that I realized that maybe there was more to this fighting system than I thought. Good luck. You'll know what I mean when you get there. With various gameplay options, beautiful anime-inspired artwork, and over-the-top action, I can't think of another game I would recommend more. I had such a blast playing Xenoverse 2 for the last couple of days, and I think you will too. Now, if you want to see more awesome Nintendo Switch content, make sure you click the links on the screen or the ones that are pinned down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.